So, as I promised, here's the high-damage nuking BROMIUS build that I'm using for Cogah missions and just simply farming stuff in the game easily. Take note that this video has timeline below, as the last part of this guide is a full solo run of Cogah mode. I did not edit or cut anything, just to show you that this build is tanky and has high damage to kill even the hard mode bosses in this game. Of course, there's a lot of walking in the part, which is why I made sure that I just put timestamp at the start of each fight for easier browsing. Okay, now let's begin this guide, and to start it off, I want to show you what you need and where to farm these items for this BROMIUS build. Of course, let's discuss the Pact first. BROMIUS Pact is rewarded after finishing the Waste Bear quest, and if you have the resource requirements and Drax shown in your screen, then you can craft it right away. Now, I want you to understand how the BROMIUS Pact actually works. His first ability is what we'll use for dealing high damage against enemies. The slam has two area of effects, one for the damage and a larger one dealing 1 damage for the stagger. This ability scales with courage, physical armor, magic armor, and your stability. An important note is that the courage scaling of this skill is 1 time at 8 courage, and the max is 1.32 times at 43 courage points. To do this, you must rank up your character to earn virtues, which you can invest to increase your courage points. Also, you can use amulets with courage. Furthermore, there's an upgrade in the Pact called Mora's Pride that grants insane amount of courage for this build. Another important thing that we should discuss here is how does the armor values scale the damage of rump thump. Basically, every armor stat point has the same effective value to buff the damage. What you need to increase is the total armor values for this build to increase the damage of rump thump. Right now, I have 110 armor values on this build, which I think is the highest right now for increasing the damage of rump thump. So, how do you get this armor values? To get the 110 armor value, I'm using the Arbearer's Mask for my helmet, which you can get from the Kabocha World boss. Then, I have the Cogah Lorcan Amulet, which I got from hard mode bosses, that grants physical defense and also attack and courage buff. For the leggings, I have the Mockery Dewthrot, which you can farm from the Imp World boss. For the cuirass, I also have the Mockery Binds, which also can be farmed from the Imp World boss. And then, I am using magic weapons with the normal runes for this build. For my sidearm, I'm using the Odiak, which you can farm from Discharged Nimrod and Banneret enemies easily. Now, I'm using the Arcstorm rune here to unlock 2 slots of defensive motes. The Stagger and Physical Armor motes give the highest boost to my total armor rating, which is perfect to increase my rump thump build. Then for my weapon, I am using the Erst Root Staff, which you can farm from the Wraith of Wastes. I also use the Arcstorm rune for this to unlock defensive runes, and it has the same rune setup that boost stagger and physical for maximum boost for rump thump. By the way, you don't have to reforge this staff and attuned it to courage. I just tried this because I thought that it would scale with the armor reduction from this beaver rune. It turns out that the armor reduction doesn't scale with your attacks, and it just reduces armor no matter what attack. Well, I just got that feeling that there might be some spaghetti coding here, just like Warframe, but it turns out to be working as what the description says. Also, there's really no point in doing armor strip in bosses in my opinion, as it just reduces 12 armor, which basically is just a flat 12 damage increase, most likely, as no matter how many times I spam my normal attack, the damage of rump thump hits the same. By the way, you might get scared of this build because it has low magic resistance, but it really doesn't matter if you have high health values, which you can do by ranking up your character to gain health increase per virtue points you allocate. Another thing is that you can get more health through the Everbound passive in your BROMIUS Pact. Now, aside from health, the stability allows you to mitigate attacks also by using the block mechanic of your staff. You will see how low the damage of magic enemies while blocking with staff at the last part of the Cogah boss showcase. Basically, all you need to do is hold your block against those magic projectiles. Also, I have the rooted passive from my BROMIUS Pact to further increase my defense against stagger. By the way, this doesn't add up to the armor values to increase your rump thump, but it does help you blocking attacks more without getting knocked down. For the weapon combat arts, it really doesn't matter, as most likely, everything gets killed by rump thump all the time. Now, before seeing the Cogah run, I would also like to remind you that rump thump will only have huge damage and delete bosses with 1 or 2 shots. Well, probably 3 shots for the Cogah Weaver while doing it solo, if you activate your 3rd skill first. Basically, this skill buffs your armor values, and this allows you to somehow double the damage you deal with rump thump. Based on experience, this skill is also better to scale with courage to increase the armor boost, and while the duration gets boosted by spirit virtue, it's really not that big of a deal, and I think 17 seconds is enough for you to do a one-shot nuke on normal and high damage on Cogah mode. So, that's all about it. I hope that you find this guide useful and go kill enemies with your butt cheeks using this build.
Turn of dice for next bout. Come. Fresh prize, Linton.